You can describe it in perhaps different ways, right? So from a business perspective, you could say it's like the CEO of the company. You have people who do the marketing, who do the operations, who do take care of all the functional details. The responsibility is yours,
Okay.
right? Whatever you have oversight, and so you're responsible for all the major decisions. So in that sense, this role is somewhat similar. We have people who manage academic affairs. I have someone called a provost who oversees all academic affairs. What does that mean? How do we recruit faculty? How do we make sure that our programs, our academic programs, are rigorous but also relevant to what students need? We have people managing IT, we have people managing student enrollment, all that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, if something goes wrong in any of those units, it's my responsibility, right? So that's a one way to think about it. I think about it.
Yeah, I'm rolling.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and just for heads up, try not to swivel too much in
Oh,
your chair.
sorry.
I know that's easy to do. I
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Just
So
it'll look
do you
better
want me to
on
look
camera.
here or here?
You'll
You
look
can
at
look
me.
right at the
Okay,
cards.
okay.
Yeah, and we'll be able to respect the time, but I think you've got something at a quarter till, so
Yes.
Okay, we're
Okay,
rolling.
yeah.
So whenever you
Okay.
guys.
I was
ready
just going to
to-
add, though, from my
go ahead.
perspective, I see that role as a service role, right? I serve my students, and if they don't succeed, that's on me. So
Okay, that's fair. Just for those not playing along, somebody else might view this recording later. Would you say your first and last name for us? Spell it as
yes, Latha Ramchand. Latha is my first name, Ramchand is my last name. I spell Latha as, or my parents spelled it as Latha, and the last name is spelled Ramchand.
Okay, and as with all the people I interview with PhDs, you all downplay it like you didn't spend all that money and time. Doctor. So you just moved here to Indiana. You said a week and some change ago.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the state so far? What do you think of Indianapolis?
I love the city. I haven't been to all parts of the state, but I am absolutely going to make it a priority to travel. I love the city, and I'll tell you why. I was raised in a big city, a city called Bombay, which is now called Mumbai, huge city, and I love the vibe of being in an urban environment. That's just me. There's opportunities there. There's things you can do that really are appealing to me, and I found this city, especially having seen what happens during an NBA AllStar weekend. Boy, this is the place to be, right? So lots of wonderful things about the city. I also think there is a part of the city that I did not know about. This whole the way the community has enabled, empowered sports to be a big part here. It doesn't happen just overnight, or it doesn't happen if you have one group of people wanting it, but the community coming together to support this. Whether it's the story of Herbert Simon, who enabled the Pacers to stay here in 1983. What a compelling story, right? So all that to me speaks about not just what the city looks like, but what is the heart of the city? What's the soul of the city? And to me, that's a big plus. So.
Okay. I'm just curious, and maybe it makes some color for the piece, but were you able to get to any of the All-Star events?
Not, I didn't go directly, but we watched some of the fireworks, and of course on TV we watched as much as we could. We're still settling down in our condo, so yeah.
Okay. In the time that you've been at the helm of the university here, what, I guess, have been some areas you've seen that have presented themselves as focus, right? You want to go ahead and nail these down.
Student success is certainly a big focus, and it's been a focus even before me. It's not something I created. It's the focus of, it should be the focus of every university. It should be our North Star. Making sure that we provide a great experience for our students so they are not just academically qualified, but they're also ready to take on their careers, have choices. That's certainly a priority of mine. I always say this, I'm a first-gen student. I wouldn't be here but for the fact that education opened doors for me that nothing else could have. And so enabling that student to succeed is really what drives me. And I think we have that vision here for our university, whether it's President Witten's vision in the IU strategic plan for 2030, We also have research. Research is a priority for our institution, right? We're a public urban research university. What does that mean? It means we graduate the human capital that industry in this region needs, and that's going to foster economic growth and development. Cities grow not just because of buildings, but they grow when you have smart people making smart decisions. That's what we do in academia. We graduate that talent. We also help industry innovate. The research that our faculty do, whether it's the next solution or the solution for, say, something like Alzheimer's or cancer or heart disease, that starts with basic research that happens in a lab. Taking that research into the marketplace is a series of steps, and that's where we need good industry partners to help us do that. And we have that in this part of the country, right? The bioscience industry here is very strong, significant, and we have a talent base that can help us take that research that our faculty are doing in those areas and convert it into innovations that will help all of us deal with our health challenges. And in doing that, we're actually providing jobs, developing the workforce, and fostering a growth and economic development. So these are the two things that I see as huge opportunities for our university that are here, and we need to pursue that and bring a sense of urgency to the way in which we deliver to those goals.
Okay, I appreciate you answering that question so thoroughly. One thing you mentioned was human capital. Yesterday I had a conversation with a gentleman who was a former player at the Colts, the football team, the professional football team. And he went and got himself a business degree, all kinds of stuff, right? And he was talking about how there is a need for professional teams to work with the players to have them invest in the community so that they're invested, they don't leave, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of, I guess, brings me to this. You have students coming from around the country, around the world, and they take what they learn here and they go wherever they want to go with it. Is there a way that you can get the people that come and expend some of that human capital you mentioned here in Indiana, here in Indianapolis?
I love that question, and I'll tell you why. Because 90% of the students who graduate from Indiana University in Indianapolis, no matter where they come from, choose to live and work here after graduation. I have not seen that statistic in any of the other institutions I have served. And it's always a challenge to keep people in that region, right? Because it's really up to them. They have choices. What's happening here in Indianapolis is really compelling. 90% is amazing, is off the charts. So we're already doing that. And with the new programs we're introducing, right? Bioinformatics. That didn't just happen out of someone's, someone thought it up as they woke up in the morning and they said, let's offer this. No, that's what industry needs. That's what industry told us they need, right? So we're developing programs that serve that need, right? We are working on we're creating these centers of research that will do exactly what bioscience and biotechnology in the region needs. So we're really working closely with the community so that when our students graduate, they're already in demand. Why? Because the programs we created were based on demand that we heard from industry. So that connection to the community is pretty strong, and my goal will be to just expand and build on that so that, maybe even more than 90% of our students will choose to live here even after they graduate, right? And you see this when you talk to students. When I ask them, why did you come to this university? What's your why? This reason is like top of mind for so many of our students, that we give them the opportunity to work even before they graduate. And when you do that, they become job ready. And if the employer that they worked for on an internship or on a co-op opportunity, which we're developing now with Eli Lilly, if you've already worked there and the company knows who you are and they want to recruit you, why would you choose to go anywhere else, right? So those programs offer a compelling reason for students to actually live here after they graduate.
Okay. I'm going to keep a close eye on the time here, make sure you're out of here on time. As you address moving to IU Indianapolis from IUPI, I've never done this job.
Mm-hmm.
Many people watching will, of course, never have done this job.
Yeah.
What does that entail? What do you have to do?
Yeah, great question. A lot of the work, I want to give credit to the people who already done that before I came here. So realignment of this nature is when you say I've never done that, very few, I don't know any other academic institution that has done that. So we're all writing the playbook as we go. To me, it was two great institutions coming together many years ago and then deciding that we can do better if we have this realignment. So that's the basis. Now, from there to how we implement that, lots of details, right? So which programs stay here, which programs go to Purdue, how will students who are in one program, if the program changes or moves, what happens to the students? So there's a lot of details that have been worked out so that the student and the faculty member feels that this is going to be a seamless transition. I don't know that we worked out all the details, because as we're working on this, we are being asked, hey, what about this? What about that? And those questions are really prompting us to do a better job thinking about all the details. The two things that are really impressive about this implementation, one is the people, right? These are strong relationships. Faculty have had friendships over years. Staff have had friendships over years. So we're working together in a very collaborative fashion to reach that end goal. So that's huge, because if that is not there, it would not be possible. The second thing is we're encouraging people to tell us where they see gaps. So ask us questions so then we can address that, right? Because there are lots of details. And that process also, I think, is working reasonably well. We're meeting with the Purdue teams almost on a weekly basis and working through all the details and seeing the quality of the people commitment to this, I think is to me has been very satisfying and humbling. So.
Excellent. Kyle, we got just a couple more minutes here, but I know we need some cutaways. I did have one question, one more question. How do you want to do that? Well, we don't want to take too much of your time here. We want to be able to get some cutaway shots too. So can I ask it while you get cutaways, or how do you want to do it?
You can ask the question and then we can do a couple cutaways.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
What's a
Thank you.
cutaway?
It's like
Editing?
A wider shot, like getting a
so
wider
he'll-
shot.
Oh, I
he'll
see.
be in the shot,
I see.
yeah.
It's shot so when I talk about your background, it won't just be you talking.
Ah, good.
You'll be over here.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And then you'll be
Show like a field of roses or an IU Indianapolis banner or
exactly.
something.
We'll splice all that in. The final question I had for you was if you could identify one or two challenges. You sat in the captain's seat day one and said, "Oh, this is what I'm going to have to do." If you could identify one or two challenges, what would they be?
Yeah, it's not so much a challenge as much as I think of it as an opportunity. I think we need to bring a sense of urgency to what we're doing. And we have a lot of great plans, and we are implementing a lot of those. I want to make sure we think of this as something that has to be done. And I say this only because in academia, the norm is to, things take a long time to work themselves out. You want to make a change in anything, you start with a task force. The task force takes anywhere from 6 months to a year to present their recommendations, and then you follow it up with another 6 months to a year of working through that. So it's 2 years before anything happens. And this is not just for us, but I see this across academic institutions, right? Which is we really cannot and should not be waiting that long. There are ways to do that without compromising what I call governance. So the usual reasons for that delay is we need everyone's input. We can absolutely get input. In this day and age, through technology, we can speed up the process, because if we don't make those changes, or if we don't implement the things that we want to implement, execution, right? Execution has to happen with a sense of urgency.